just seen me play an example guitar solo using box position 3 and box position 4 of the A minor pentatonic scale, and that was over a 12 bar blues in the key of A. So welcome back to the channel. We are now up to lesson 11 in our series, the Blues in 5 Boxes. And yeah, what we're looking at today is jumping between box position 3 and box position 4, how we might do that with a whole bunch of example licks. In fact, there's 11 of them in the example solo. So the way the lesson's going to work, I'm going to talk a little bit about the easiest ways to move between box position 3 and box position 4, and then we'll go through all the licks and break them down one by one. And then I'll leave you with an alternative solo at the end. So how's that sound? All good? All right, we'll get on with the lesson. So box position 3, as you remember from previous lesson, we find that with our index finger on the B string, find our root note, which is, we're in the key of A, so we're looking for an A, so there's one there. And box position 3 kind of anchors around that point. So yeah, so that's where that is. Then we've also got box position 4 as well, so that's kind of up here. Now we find our root note using our ring finger on the G string, and we get these notes. Okay, and we talked in the last lesson about how you can kind of move between using either your middle finger to play the root note for those kind of licks, or use your ring finger when playing it here. Actually, I use my index finger at the end there, but you get the idea. So yes, that's a quick recap of the two box positions. So if we know the shapes, how do we move between them? How's the best way of getting getting between them? Well, I'll be honest, there's only a couple of ways I use to do this. What you'll see in the solo is a lot of, here's a box position 3 lick, now here's a box position 4 lick. It's kind of getting a little tricky to kind of slide between them, but there are a couple of things that I use. So firstly, when I'm in box position 3, if we think of that note there on the 12th fret G string, what I might do is, instead of playing it with my ring finger, play it with my middle finger and slide up. So box position 3 into box position 4. So you can kind of do that one. I use that a little bit, not a lot. Another one that's I find a lot easier, but again, I don't use it because it's kind of in the wrong place. That it's on the bass strings, which I don't focus on as much. But you can play a lick where you start 12th fret A string, play with my ring finger, and then use that to slide up into box position 4. So we're in box position 3, and then we're going to slide into box position 4. So I'm actually using a D string between 10, 12 and 14. And in fact, in this example solo, which one is it? It's lick 5. We're actually going to make real kind of use of that. Okay, so that's the two box positions, and that's kind of how I move between them. But also there's a lot of just, I'll play a lick in one box and I'll play another lick in another box. There's a bit of that going on too. Okay, so on with the actual licks. We've got our intro lick, which goes over our intro chord progression. So our little intro chord progression, as always, same backing track as usual. We've got a bar of E7, bar of D7, bar of A7, back to a bar of E7, before we then start the 12 bar blues chord progression proper. And over that intro, we're going to play licks 1 and 2. Lick 1 is kind of a lengthy lick. It's quite easy to play, but it's just a kind of lot to memorize. So I'll play it up to speed and then we'll break it down. So it goes like this: 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Okay, I'll break it down, take it nice and slow. The best way to do this is it's kind of a lengthier lick. Break it down into 3 pieces. We've got this bit to start with. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay, which is all box position 3. And then the second part goes like this. And then the third piece will go like this. Okay, so if you kind of break it into those 3 chunks, it's kind of easier to remember, and then you just put them all together. So nice and slow. The first one, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay, the second part would then go a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a. Okay. And then the final piece will go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's got that little note at the end which I nearly forgot. Okay, so put it all together nice and slow. I'm trying to read it and play at the same time. Never mind. Yeah, put it all together nice and slow. It goes like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay, that was a long lick. Lick 2 is much shorter and goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice and slow. Starts with this little dirty bend, and then it just walks down the pentatonic scale. So nice and slow. That's because we're now over an E7 chord. So I want to emphasize that E note there. Okay, and then lick 3 is going to bring us to the end of the intro to get us into the start of the 12-bar blues, and that will go like this. Okay, and nice and slow. Actually, in the performance, I don't think I did it as a hammer-on, I just played it straight. So lick 1 starts in box position 3, ends in box position 4. Licks 2 and 3 then are just in box position 4. Okay, so then we're up to lick 4. And lick 4, we're now going to play over this D7 chord. So we're going to emphasize this D note here before resolving back to an A7 and emphasizing this note here. Okay, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice and slow. So you notice we hang on that note because that's over the D7 before back to our A. Okay, lick 5. This is the long lick that's got the slide between box 3 and box 4. It goes like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, and nice and slow, it will go like this. It starts with a triplet feel, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, and then we have 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That kind of feel. So anyway, it go like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, so yeah, just watch for that move from box 3 to box 4. That kind of move there. Okay, that's what that lick's based around, that idea of jumping between the 2 boxes using that particular slide. Okay, lick 6 then is kind of like a bit of a filler that gets us from the D7 back to the A7, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so nice and slow. Okay, lick 7 then, we're over the A7. It goes like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Nice and slow. Okay, lick 8. We're going to move back up into box position 4 now. It goes like, we're going to play this immediately before we come in. We've got these little 3 run notes, this little triplet before we get to the E7. So our triplet goes, okay, and then over the E7, we're going to do this big bend. One of those, okay? So the whole lick will go like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay, nice and slow. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay, notice that whenever we're hitting that note there, we're giving it a little dirty little cheeky bend before resolving to there. Okay, so then we get lick 9 and lick 9, dropping our hand position back to box 3. We'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice and slow. Quite easy, just 3 notes. Okay, then we're up to lick 10. Lick 10 now over that E7 chord. So we're going to be emphasizing this E note here in box position 3, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice and slow. Okay, lick 11, final lick. It comes in right before we go back and start the 12-bar blues all over again. It comes in on the 4, it's a triplet, it goes like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Important thing is to land that last note as we move back to the A7 from the E7, and the whole band starts the 12-bar blues again. So you've got to land that on beat 1 of the next round of the 12-bar blues. Nice and slow. The timing is basically 4 and a 1. So 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. And it is a pull off to start. Okay, and I just basically held that for a bar. Okay, so that's all the licks there, 11 licks, moving between box position 3 and box position 4. Hope you found that useful. Lesson 11 there. Next lesson is lesson 12, and I think we're moving on to box position 5. Hope you're enjoying it so far. I'll leave you with an alternative solo so you can see some other ideas of jumping between box 3 and box 4. Take care. I'll see you next time.